Hyello! Alright, so this is part 2 of painting my kitchen cupboards, but the easier way. And also the drawers because I had to do those too. Enjoy. Step 1 is cleaning out any and all important stuff out of the drawers. This is stuff that is still either relevant or we just generally wanted to keep it. And taking the time to also throw out what we don't want, whether it's recycling or garbage or donating. This is kind of like a spring cleaning, even though this was filmed definitely not during spring at all. For my cabinets though, this is purely taking out all items used for cooking and keeping them together as much as possible and as close to the kitchen as possible because you don't mess with people and their food. In retrospect, I probably would have swept this first, which you will see later, and I recommend always sweeping first. Ew! This is gross over.
Wait for your head. Kitchen.
I don't even know what this is. But beyond that, I TSP'd the crap out of these to prep them for the primer. I do apologize ahead of time. Ew! It's already disgusting.
It's TSP in the evening.
Look at this. Already.
It's just like, kind of gross.
You guys have probably seen me do this, I don't know, like 100 times by now. If not, you should go back and watch some other videos and, you know, subscribe. Anyways, I digress. Always read to your package instructions, and this is to be done in a well-ventilated area or with a mask on or in a bigger set room. Basically, you just don't want to be heavily breathing in this stuff. Though I personally don't find it bothersome in the way of a stench. Next step is both here and in more obvious parts of the video, as for whatever reason I started here and then did the rest of them at an entirely different time. Step 3 is to remove all drawers. As you might have seen in my last video, I had to remove some ninja hardware that was trying to hide from me, and again here. Like there's one metal and one plastic. Yeah, take them off. Step 4 is to remove those anyways. Step 5 is to give myself a much-deserved break at this point. Continuing on, step 6, put on proper protective equipment because it's prime time. So yes, the majority of this is a somewhat step-by-step guide on how to paint the insides and also the outside of cabinets and drawers easier than last week's video, but it is also chock full of opportunities for you guys to watch me struggle and contort my body to paint as best as I can. AKA some painting Pilates. Let's begin.
Getting a workout there, girl?
I'm gonna have bruises on my body in the morning. It's weird how much wood contorts I can imagine at some point it was all just flush, like everything was flushed together. But now there's about half an inch of space between this and the back of it, and no space between this and that.
Well, the best, when you're living in an earthquake zone, the best house to live in is a wood house because it'll move with the earthquake.
Step 7 is to get you some uplifting people in your life if you don't already have them.
It looks so good, girl.
Appreciate the photo confidence.
Well, you've already shown that it will look beautiful, so.
Ah yes, now it is time for step 8, the painting of the drawers. Honestly, nothing special here, just hitting them up with some TSP as well. For them to dry down, and then priming and painting. That's really it. Then step 9, adding the hardware back on. Look at us go. Step 10 is finally putting the paint onto the sides of the cabinet. I would count this generally as the next step, but it's actually just a repeat of the first step, which is just to get everything out. I'm also doing all the same steps here, as I worked really hard on this kitchen cabinetry, and I got multiple camera angles, so I was very proud and I wanted you guys to see it. Repeat step 5 as needed. Do you want to see what I have to look like in order to get to the back?
Yep. That's about it.
I just like round 1 done. Round 2 fight. Round 4. Round 6. Wall número dos. Okay. Painting my hair again. Okay. I've officially reached a new low. I am in the cupboard. Okay. Oh shit. Don't ask me how I'm gonna get back in there, because I don't know. All right. Okay, look at this. Just paint everywhere. Code numero uno. Woo! Step 11, put everything back where you found it, which I'll say I'm still learning to balance that and organizing everything, but this isn't entirely my space. So baby steps. Since I'm not about to show you the same process yet again, here's a simple before and after instead. And again, paint my hair. And again, painted my hair. Hello, little boat. And again, paint in my hair. I'm such an asshat. Alternatively to step 2 is sanding everything down. TSP will get a surface ready for painting, but sanding will also do that as well, especially if you do need to take away any of the previous paint in order for your new paint to cover. I didn't, but I definitely wanted to sand these down as well. Just remember to wipe down the surfaces after you're done. After sanding, that is. Because the remnants of paint and wood go everywhere. And they stick to everything. Which is why you need to really protect all food related items, your clothing, and your lungs. I used a toner on my skin after sanding these down, after wearing a mask and safety goggles. And the cotton pad that I put the toner on was neon green, because these are yellow, so if you take it off, it kind of looks neon greenish. It gets everywhere, and I put a towel down inside each of the drawers to keep as much material from getting in there as possible, as they had already been painted. Though this way painting cabinets and drawers is easier by means of, like not taking them off and trying to put them back on. I did have to take more precautions and trying to put them back on, especially with changing out hardware, because hardware, like screws and stuff like that, when you take them out, it's generally a good rule of thumb to put in new hardware always, because it has a possibility of being stripped. I did give it a wipe down as I recommended, and then all the same steps with priming, painting 2 or 3 layers on the back, the front, and the edges. But be sure when you are painting the edges that you do a lighter stroke or thinner layers so that they are still able to close properly, as that's what I had issues with mostly in the first installment of this. The downside of doing it this way though, if or when the doors actually come off, whether that's because you want to change them or if you want an open concept kitchen, etc., where the hardware was located will be the same color as you just covered. Though if you are doing an open concept, that doesn't matter because, well, you won't be putting them back on. You just have to know that you're willing to deal with that fact. It's like when you get asked what weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of steel. Most would say that they weigh the same, a pound of each. But it's actually a pound of feathers because you also have to take on the weight of what you did to those poor birds. Dark joke, dark humor. Anyways. And if you're asking about the background of this because it's white against yellow, that's yet to come. But I promise it's coming. And finally, that is it for today's video. I do hope you guys found it enjoyable to see 2 different ways to do basically the exact same thing. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!